Hi everyone, so welcome to our mini series on ethical hacking introduction. So here that you can see, it is a very level zero, or I would like to call it as a basic level of exercise that we are going to do when it comes to red teaming. So in this session that I'm going to explain to you what are the contents that we are going to cover with ethical hacking course, and how we are going to cover the list of practicals that we are going to do. And definitely I will be doing some practicals, hands-on practicals in this session itself, just to give you an idea how exactly that we are teaching this particular course, right? By looking at this slide that you can quickly understand, red teaming is the bigger word. Right? Normally companies and organizations, they hire external people. Some people would love to call it as hackers, and I would love to call it as penetration testers. So whatever the case it is, the external companies, they will hire the people who can break into their system, who can break into their infrastructure. It could be a normal secure IT infrastructure, or it could be a web infrastructure, or maybe a application, software application infrastructure. Whatever the case it is, they will be paying you in order to break into their systems, and you have to write a report and you have to provide it to them. What was the way that you have used, what was the loophole identified, and how exactly you have done the break and stuff like that, right? So ethical hacking is going to be the basics, baby steps in order to grow yourself into that particular level, right? Obviously, once if you have done, or once if you are familiar with the concepts of ethical hacking, I would suggest you to go and look for further courses from EC Council that you can see here. There are many different courses available. Ethical hacking is the one which is really valued and which is really recognized in the industry. But further, you can update yourself by going into license penetration testing, or maybe an advanced penetration testing. Okay. So, and if you want to learn even more than this, you can definitely go for OSCP. That you can see there are a lot of different penetration testing examinations are there. Quite expensive though, but it's very valued. Right? You can see it's a penetration testing with Kali Linux, and you can even see there is a separate course available for Wi-Fi, and there is one separate course for evasion techniques, maybe your defenders and antiviruses and stuff like that. And they have separate track introduced for web application attacks, and even for exploit development, right? So there are a lot of different courses, a lot of different tracks available for you to choose. For whichever the track that you are traveling, ethical hacking is going to be the base of it. You need to have this ethical hacking knowledge in order to get yourself elevated to such tracks. So in this ethical hacking that we are going to cover 14 different topics. So only 10 are mentioned. I'm going to quickly show you what are the other 4 as well here. Okay. So definitely on the day one that you will be learned, or we will be helping you in order to create a nice little virtual lab, and it will be helpful for you to do a penetration testing. Let me quickly show you my virtual lab over here. You can see this is my virtual lab over here. These are the operating systems that I have actually installed. You can see there are many, client or victim-based operating systems. I do have XP as well, just for fun. You can see here there are a couple of Windows 7 machines, a Windows 10 machine in order to test the Defender functionalities. There is a server machine as well. You can even see there is something called Tail OS. Probably you guys might have heard about, Tor browser. Right, so this is something similar to that, where all the different details that you are sending it will be encrypted, and your privacy will be maintained, and such kind of a Linux-based operating system it is. And you can see Backbox, you can see Renmax. These are different Linux distributions. Especially when you go for Renmax, this is a nice little operating system. Again, it's a Linux-based one, specifically used for malware forensics, not for the ethical hacking. So the famous Linux distribution which is being used for ethical hacking is Kali Linux, right? So in my case, I'm just using the 2020 version of it, and I'm using 2019 as well, because a couple of tools are eliminated from 19 when it comes to 2020. A couple of days before, I have even seen the 2021.1. That version is also released, so it's up to you to choose it, whichever the version that you want to go. Okay, so Kali Linux is the one that we are going to solely focus when it comes to ethical hacking. That is a distribution that we are going to use it as an attacker machine. However, if you are looking forward to have a different flavor of it, if you are tired of using Kali Linux, if you feel like everyone is using, you wanted to go for a different distribution, you are always welcome to go ahead and download Parrot Security. It's a pretty beautiful looking interfaces, and colorful stuff is available, but it's kind of the same as Kali Linux. It's only required only when if you wanted to have some changes. And you can see there is one more called Backbox. You can even use that one. But compared to this Kali Linux or Parrot, Backbox is not much of a bigger operating system. You will end up, pretty much cloning all the different, the tools that you needed separately. So that will take some time and a lot of issues will take place. So I would suggest you, if you are a beginner, you go for either Kali Linux or, a Parrot OS. So comparatively, there is one more operating system. So I would love to award the third rank to Parrot OS. I will give the second rank for Kali Linux. So which is going to have the first rank? That is nothing but Black Arch. There is an operating system called Black Arch, which is a Linux distribution again. But unfortunately, that is not a Debian-based Linux distribution. So for those who are beginners, they're going to find some difficulties with the commands and with the executions and stuff like that. So that is the reason I'm not going to use Black Arch for any of the demonstrations here. But I would suggest, if you are a wizard of Linux, if you know how to get these things done with Linux, then you can definitely go ahead with Black Arch. If you compare the Black Arch and the Kali Linux, I would say Kali Linux has almost around 400 tools inbuilt. So let me quickly show you that. Here it is. This is my Kali Linux. Obviously, this is an older version. This is 2019 version. So if you go to this application session, that you can see there are a lot of different tools which are inbuilt. For example, if you go and click the password attacks, you can see there are a lot of different tools. John the Ripper is there. Johnny, he's nothing but the GUI version of it. You can even see Crunch, Medusa, Opcrack. There's a lot of different tools which are inbuilt with Kali Linux. Okay, and if you wanted to do some wireless-based attacks, that you can see there are many other tools available. So same like that for every concept, that Kali Linux has some inbuilt tools within. The total number of tools, it could be somewhere around 400 to 500. And the Kali Linux distribution will worth about 4 GB space, and that's all. I'm just talking about the ISO download. Once if you have installed it, it might take about 20 GB. But when you're downloading, it's about 4 GB. If you compare the Kali Linux to the Black Arch is coming with 1,200 or plus tools. It's almost 3 times more than what Kali Linux has, right? And it is about a 30 GB distribution. It's quite a bigger one. With these statistics, that you can quickly understand that's a better tool. But anyway, that we are not using it because it's not going to be a beginner friendly. Okay. So throughout the CEH classes, we are going to use Kali Linux as our attacking operating systems. And for a victim, we are going to use Windows 7 or maybe Windows 10, and that's all. Down the line, that you can see something called vulnerable machines. I have downloaded a lot of vulnerable machines from a website called Vulhub. You can go to that Vulhub website over here. You can see this is what Vulhub website. And this is where, a lot of different vulnerable machines are hosted. Almost 1,000 plus vulnerable machines are there. You can download any of the machine of your choice. For example, let me click these. You can see here, you can download that machine. It's an OVA format, right? So there is a specific way that you can install OVA format. So it's also there. So you can see here, you can download that machine. It's about 2.4 GB, and you can host it on your same, virtual lab here, something like this. And you can open the machine and you can try to play with the machine. This is pretty much what you are going to do. You're going to attack those machines by using your Kali Linux attacker system. Right? So eventually, that the list of virtual machines that you are going to have on your lab will definitely grow. You're going to start with 1 or 2 victim machines and 1 attacker machine and a couple of vulnerable machines. But by the end of the class, you will definitely go out with minimum of 20 machines installed on your VMware lab setup. So that is what that we are going to concentrate on the day one. We will help you out from the beginning how exactly that you will be able to set it up. And you can see these are the various things that we are covering on the day one. And we will be discussing about the various operating system, as I have told you in a nutshell right now, but we will be discussing more. And adapter settings, it's pretty much very important for you. Here that you can see there is a vulnerable machine called Metasploitable 2. If you really wanted to exploit to this machine, if you wanted to find some details and to break into this machine, you need to make sure your attacker machine and the victim machine should be on the same network. So if I right click on here, if I go to the settings and I need to look for something called network adapter, you can see there are multiple adapter settings available. So please note that currently my attacker machine is on NAT adapter. Let me cancel it. Let me do the same with the victim machine. I go to settings. I'll choose the adapter settings. Here you can see both the adapters are same. So that pretty much tells you both the machines are on the same network. Or in other words, you can actually ping this machine. You can get some more details out of this machine. So you can see there are other options also available. The one of the option is called host only. That means all these machines which are available in the virtual platform, they will be able to speak with each other. However, they won't be able to establish a connection towards the internet or maybe towards your base host machine, the machine that you have installed the VMware, right? So those two options will not be there. Pretty much if you're using a host only option, you won't be able to go to the internet. We do not like that. We want to go to the internet. So there are two options for us to go to the internet. One is either bridged or NAT. So the reason I'm choosing NAT, because NAT will let you visit to the internet from your virtual machine without interfering your host machine. However, bridge adapter will definitely interfere your host machine, and from there only it will be navigated to the net. I do not like interfering my host machine, because in later classes that we will definitely do malware analysis, where we will be downloading a lot of samples from websites like Syrian malware and stuff like that, and we will be analyzing those malwares. So what will happen if my virtual machine is having the capability to go and talk to my host machine? So definitely there is a good chance the malware can navigate from the virtual platform to my main platform. It will be a devastating experience for me. So that's the reason I'm not interested in using the bridge adapter here. So I'm straight away using the NAT adapter, right? So that is the the basic settings, and there is a lot more to discuss, but this is the basics of it. And you can see the victim machine installations, because the reason I have put this one as a syllabus is because certain people are coming from a very basic background. Since we have promised you that we will be teaching stuff from the baby steps. So we will be teaching you how exactly that you will be able to install an Ubuntu or maybe a Windows Server operating system or Windows 7 or Windows 10 and stuff like that in a virtual platform, right? And some of the stuff also there that you can see. You need to make sure all the machines are reachable to each other, and you should be able to share information from one virtual machine to another virtual machine, and from your host machine to the virtual machine. So we will teach you how exactly that can be done as well. And we will be definitely teaching you about dark web series and some of the vulnerable machine installation. If you go here, I have downloaded a lot of vulnerable machines. For example, if you go and look for something called let's say Tomato, this is a vulnerable machine that you can see. The file format is OVA, so it's pretty much you need to double click this and it will do the installation for you automatically. But however, in the middle that you need to do a couple of tweaks in order to test the adapters and stuff like that. So, this kind of a discussion that we will be pulling out in our day one. And further that we will definitely teach you the dark web. We will even go to the extent of how to host a dark web website from Kali Linux. So you will be creating your own onion website, right, to host it on a dark web. But, again, I'm just telling that it's not legal, but we can teach you how to do it. And it's up to you to decide whether you are going to host it or not, right? And we have already discussed your Kali Linux is going to have more than 400 plus tools inbuilt, but sometimes we feel like that is not enough, right? We need to go and get some other fancy tools, right? If you wanted to break into a Facebook, right, through a phishing attack, such kind of tools are not inbuilt in Kali Linux. So you can go ahead and get those tools from GitHub, right? So how exactly that you can get it from GitHub or maybe GitLab, Bitbucket, these kind of repositories. We will be pulling out some discussions based on that one too. And hardware-based hacking tools, that's really good. You can see here, there are many vendors available out there. The one which I really love about is Hack5. If you have a look at this guy, you just scroll down a little bit, you can see there are a lot of different tools that are available when it comes to Hack5. The one of the best tool and the very beginning tool is actually called as USB rubber ducking. So this is the very first tool this Hack5 people was launching, and it's just a keylogger. If you plug this tool to a laptop, it will try to steal. It'll act like a keyboard, and whatever the keystrokes that you are executing, all those keystrokes will be captured and it will be sent into the attacker's email. If you wanted to do the same with a complete network, you can either go and choose LAN Turtle or Plunderbug, these kind of devices, which will help you out to steal the information or to gather the keystrokes which the people are actually executing in their PCs in a laboratory or maybe on a network to attack a machine. So this is a possible way of doing it. There is a lot more tools available here. Especially, I would like to mention a couple more interesting tools here. One of that is this Oh My God cable. So oh my god cable is an extremely and amazing tool. What it generally does, it provides some intelligence to the cable. This provides some intelligence to the cable, right? So normally what will happen is when you are plugging this cable into a mobile in order to charge the mobile, it will try to steal the information from the mobile. For example, you will definitely have a friend, whether you are working in a corporate environment or whether you are a student or whoever you are, right? You can be an Uber driver, whoever you are, right? There are people who are coming to you and asking for cable in order to charge their mobile phone. You will definitely have a friend like that. In such situations, instead of giving an authentic cable, you need to give this particular cable, right? So what it generally does, it tries to steal the information out from the mobile phone, and it'll, like email it to you, or maybe you will be able to view that information from a cloud console called, this one, Hack5 Cloud Command and Control Center. And the most funniest part for this is I have never seen a person who is charging his mobile from a wall plug. All of you guys are charging your mobile by using your laptop. So that will be a one stone, two mango story where, you will be able to get some information from the laptop itself. It's quite difficult, but still it is doable. And the price of this cable is surprisingly under $100, right? And you can even go down and you can see some serious damaged products that you can see. Ubertooth one and Yardstick, Hacker RF1. Pretty much there are a lot of tools available which can be helpful for you in order to record an RF frequency. In Sri Lanka especially, the people are using very old cars. So those cars are like for 3 million or 4 million people are buying a car, but that is 2001, 2002 model. That is for some reason that is the situation of our country. So you are paying a 3.5 million rupees for a very old, deadly old car, right? And that car is hackable. Right? So only when if you are using a car which is born after 2015, all these vulnerabilities are eliminated. So 90% of the population in Sri Lanka are using old cars. So definitely, if you have one of these tools and go near to them, and you will be able to record the frequency from their key, and you can open their car door the next day. Right? Those kind of things are there. That's why these tools are pretty much illegal in Sri Lanka for you to use it, and even for you to import it. But if you have some friends in some of the westernized or developed countries, that you will be able to get these tools. You might have heard about some other tools called USB killer. These are also the tools that you can buy. Let me go to the images and quickly show you this. It's a beautiful little tool. What you can do is, if you put this, generally, normally that our electronic circuits will work with a 5 voltage current, right? But what this pen drive will do, it will try to produce 200 and 200 plus voltage. And if you plug this USB into your laptop will burn, your motherboard will burn. That's why we call it as a USB killer. Right? You can buy these and you can just plug into your friend's laptop and have some fun. You see that? 200 volts. Look at this. Right from the 5 volt, 200 volts, it will produce it, and your electronic circuits will be dead immediately. You want to know what is the cost of this tool? Probably under $100, right? So that much cheaper nowadays these tools are, and you can do some, pretty devastating attack by using these kind of tools. We will discuss more tools like this, like when it comes to the day one.